Celebrate every hunting day you have, because someday you're not going to have any more left. All right, here we are. Another episode of the Make It Happen Outdoors YouTube channel. We're in beautiful central Utah, up in the mountains, where most of our experience comes from.
This is where we cut our teeth elk hunting. Yeah, archery elk hunting.
35 years or so we've got.
Plus, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much right here where we sit.
Together.
I
don't think since, what was the first year you were up here hunting?
95 or something like that?
I think it was like 92.
Probably 92, okay.
91, 92. And I'd been hunting up here since 83. We've definitely cut our teeth here. We've had successes and failed more times on these mountains hunting elk than anywhere else. And over the last number of years, we've traveled to other states.
Right.
It's been great going to Idaho, your place in Idaho.
Exactly.
New Mexico, get hunting with new people, Nevada. We've been rolling around all over the place.
Getting even more experience, right?
Yeah.
But I think you said it right when you said our successes and failures. I mean, that kind of leads us into today's topic of our elk hunting commandments, right? We've learned a lot in those 35 years, and I think we can definitely offer some advice for those folks that may not have as much experience or just getting started or whatever else.
Right.
Maybe get through some of the hype and down to the realest part of it.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know?
Daytime hunting, or not daytime in the day in the middle of the day. I mean, hunting time. For a game day, you want to be in shape. Elk hunting is no joke. You know, depending on where you're at and how you're doing it, it could be steep, rocky, nasty. You could be at 10, 11,000 feet.
Yeah, especially if you live at 1,500.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So
there's a lot of adjustment that goes on there.
Be in physical shape. Got to do that for sure. Know your equipment. Obviously, this is all prep now. This isn't part of the 10 Commandments. This is for you getting to hunt day.
That's right. This is all should be already in your
yes
in your bag, ready to go.
Bag of tricks,
right?
yeah.
In your bag of tricks.
And we say your equipment. Know your equipment. Look, if you're a brand new hunter and you're a brand new person archery hunting, practice constantly with your bow. Get out daily. Get you and that bow as one.
Yeah.
Know how it shoots. Shoot in hills, shoot at angles, shoot, around a tree, bend your body, do things so you know how that bow is going to act.
I can guarantee you're not going to get a flat 20-yard shot on
Not usually.
game day, yeah.
Not usually. You're hidden, you're poking through tree limbs, so practice that stuff. I mean, obviously.
And the e-scouting, it's all really important, and I would hope that you're not going into an area completely blind. You can, and we've done it.
Yeah.
And we've made the best of it, but we also had 35 years to back us up too.
Yeah,
in some
that's
of
true.
that.
In those last number of years, yeah.
And some of that was before we had the technology that we have today through e-scouting and stuff. And believe me, the world is a lot different on the ground than it is from Earth or from space.
Yeah, no
so
doubt.
Google Earth is great, but be prepared.
Yeah,
when
know
you
where
get
you're
that.
at, stuff like that.
But e-scouting is great because I could tell you one time in general. Thought we were in this great area, and it was not far from here, but an area that we hadn't been in yet, and hiking up there thinking, oh, this looks great, this is awesome, we're going to do awesome today, and all of a sudden I'm standing on a dirt road that I didn't know was there. So e-scouting would have fixed all that.
Yeah, right.
I wouldn't have wasted that kind of time.
We're thinking, oh, we're getting to some good country, and bam, there's a dirt road.
Yeah. So it's like, well, that's a waste.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're going to take it for granted that you've done your scouting and your scanning, and we have videos, and everybody has videos, podcasts, YouTube channels, YouTube on e-scouting and all that. So know your areas. And look, we have somebody delivering us drinks.
Tips are accepted.
Okay.
Fill these things.
Thank you.
I got it.
And well, one of the other things that we anticipate you guys already know about is what's in your pack.
Yeah.
There's plenty of people who have done podcasts and videos on what they're putting in their pack for day packs, all day, overnight, all those kind of things.
We don't need to go into that today.
We don't need
do
to go into that. No, we're assuming you've got what you need in your pack for what
Yep.
you're doing. So yeah.
So let's start with number one. This is mostly in the order of importance, but not necessarily.
Not necessarily, but yeah, the things that we've written down we believe are great, and I think we coined this a long time ago. You learn this early, especially is we called it "Don't look a gift elk in the mouth."
Yeah, it's from the old proverb, right?
Yeah,
Don't look at a horse's teeth.
that's right.
So whatever entity it is that gives you that elk, know that it gave you that elk for a reason.
Yeah, and if you're out just trying to get just a great big bull and you've got all the money in the world to go hunt in those places, and then you'll pass up on a lot of things. But if you're like us and you just you're out in public land hunting, you're cow spike elk hunting in areas where you're at, or if you do happen to come upon a bull that you get on, take it.
Yeah, take it. Don't.
Yeah, if you're going to be there for 3 or 4 days or a week, you'll pass that one up in the first couple of days, and then you'll wish you wouldn't have about day 6
when they disappear.
Yeah.
Yep, and they will. They're not always there every day like you would hope.
And meat in the freezer is always good.
Meat tastes much better than tag soup.
That's
Doesn't
right. Yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, because the funny thing about tag soup is you taste that years later.
That's right.
Remember that one time?
Yeah. That's that tag soup sticks around for a long time.
Yep.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So the bull I shot last year was a good bull. He was the first real opportunity I had. I didn't pass him up.
That's right.
Yep.
And
He's not a huge bull, but my freezers are full.
that makes a big difference, especially
Yeah.
in times like this. It's nice to know that freezer's full of
That's for sure.
the best lean meat you can find.
Right, and let's reiterate, we're talking about this stuff for archery hunters.
Yes.
We're not doing, it's a little different game with a rifle, right?
Yeah.
You get a little.
You might be able to pass on a couple with a rifle.
Yeah, that's for sure. You've got some leeway with, especially if you can shoot some of these rifles these days. There's guys are shooting 800,000 yards.
Changes the game a little bit, doesn't it? But
just a little bit.
just a little bit. Let's talk about what happens when you're on the mountain. Seeing as how we're talking about game day,
Yeah.
and you there's some elk in the area, and you start your calling, and there's no response. What do you think?
Yeah. What do you do next?
What do you do next?
Yeah.
Right?
So you be ready to try to use a different pick on that lock.
Yeah. Try something different.
Yeah.
Pick that lock a little different way.
Honestly, switch out from a diaphragm call to a reed call.
Yeah.
Try the push button one. What's that one called again?
The hoochie mama.
The hoochie mama. Yeah, I mean, people swear by different calls.
Yeah.
You got to find something different. And we're also assuming part of this is you know what you're saying, right? There are at least 2 that we love. We love elk nut, Palmadel, and what's the other one? Jeff. What's the other one? You mentioned.
Oh,
his
Dirk
name.
Durham, the bugler. Yeah.
What's his name?
Dirk Durham.
Dirk Durham. Yeah. The language. Get to know the
Chris
language.
Rowe.
Chris Rowe. Yeah. Know what they're saying. There's plenty out there. Learn the language. When we started 30-something plus years ago, we were just tooting on a call, right?
Yeah.
And you learned what they say, how they say it, where they're at, when they're talking this way, when they're talking that way. And yeah.
Yeah. When to use cow calls and when to use a bugle.
Yes.
And it's not always just it's not a written rule either. And I think that's maybe what we're getting at is there's no written document that says you cow call here, you bugle here, you do this here.
Right.
It's not so.
Yeah, and there's philosophies about, you're calling way too much, or you don't call enough. You know what you do? You do what's comfortable and on your experience. What we found is what I've learned about is I like to be the master of the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I don't respond to a call. I make them respond to me.
Yeah. No, I think
Right.
that's perfect advice.
Yeah. So you get to a mountain ridge top or whatever, you throw out a location bugle. Just see if you can get something back. Wait a few minutes. If something rips right back, don't rip right back on him.
Mm-hmm.
You know where he is, close the distance.
Yeah.
All right, those are the
Which will
kind
get us back into one of our other commandments.
Yes, it will, yeah. So, but the calling side of things is take more than one call with you.
Yeah. I think about the times when we've sat there with a diaphragm call nothing, and we get impatient and
Which is another
goofing
problem.
off.
Yep.
And somebody picks up one of their old fighting cow calls
Detonated by Carlton,
and
fighting cow
blows
call.
this crazy, stupid,
Wow.
yeah, just playing around, and we get an answer,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it's just funny how that works out.
And that elk was there the whole time.
Yeah,
Just
he
didn't-
listened to every call ahead of that.
Yep. Yeah.
So isn't that funny? But
Yeah.
that's the pick in the lock, right?
Yep.
Do what keep trying until you get the answer.
Yeah. And look,
Because they will.
Right. And if you know the area, if you've done the part of your scouting you need to, and you don't know, if you don't think there are elk in there, go to the next ridge.
Yeah.
Call again, but
Call
try
again.
all your calls.
Yeah, work through your calls.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's great. Number
Alright.
3 is the wind. I know, and I wanted to put this in as a commandment, and I know everybody talks about it, but man, it is the most critical.
It really is.
Right.
It just-
As
it is.
Darren would say,
Yep.
you can fool their eyes and you can fool their ears, but you can't fool their nose.
That's for sure.
Right?
No, I like that.
They know what a human smells like.
They do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's bad news usually.
Yeah. And the thing about elk too is they don't stick around to see. They're not curious at all.
Yeah, no.
If they smell something not right, they go.
Right.
You know, and here's the thing too is we learned this over the years is if an elk is barking at you, it's because he can't smell you.
Right. Right. That doesn't mean you're busted
He
all
can
the time.
see something isn't right. They can tell things aren't, and so they do put their alarm bark out, right? They have a show yourself bark and they have an alarm bark.
I don't have my call on me. Right? I would do with
Yeah,
alarm
but
bark,
the alarm bark is they bark once and the mountain is gone. You're done. There's nothing around. The show yourself bark is a little lighter, and they'll stop and look. They'll bark and look to say, "Hey,
yeah.
where are you?
And or multiple times.
I'm here.
I'll do
Where
it.
are you?
Mhm.
You know, that kind of thing." So, anyway, those are ways to.
Yeah. But back to on the wind,
It
right?
goes back to the wind. Yeah.
Yeah, and no amount of calling, no amount of anything. If they've decided to turn around and you see their butts,
Yeah.
no amount is going to make
No,
them come back.
you're
They've
good.
already smelled you. You're done.
Your goose is cooked.
Your goose is cooked.
And you'll
Move
never
on.
catch them.
Nah, you'll never catch them. They're another county away. Move on to the next basin.
Yep.
Whatever you got to do.
Yeah,
so
so the
wind,
wind.
wind.
Exactly,
Right.
and everybody harps on it, and we'll dovetail back to the wind when we get to one of the other ones down here
Sure.
from last year's hunt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And know that the wind's not always doing over there what it's doing where you're at.
yeah.
Counting on thermals and
Well,
cold fronts and warm fronts and all that.
let's give another little philosophy about wind too. And we use this a lot. Is if we don't know where the elk are, you're going to a ridge, you're going to find the elk. You generally try to say, okay, let's walk where the wind is in our favor.
Mm-hmm.
When you get to the ridge, don't, if you think elk are down the other side, even if you don't, you got to know where they're at first to play the wind.
Yeah.
So we don't really concern ourselves much with the wind until we find the elk.
Then it becomes very important.
Then it becomes
By
very
number one,
important.
almost.
Yeah. So
More than calling.
yeah, no doubt. So, like we leave camp here and we head up this mountain. We're going up the mountain to
Yep.
find elk.
It is what it is.
You're not going, well, let's start over here because the wind might be doing
No,
this.
you can't. You'd
ju-
be killing yourself.
Yeah, you
right?
just go.
You'd
and-
never get anywhere.
You're right. Yeah.
You'd
You
never
can.
get anywhere. Know that there's going to be some collateral damage.
Yeah.
It's kinda
Always
how it
will be
works.
collateral damage. Yeah,
Yeah.
expect that too. Which leads us into the next one.
Yep. Leave room for the unexpected.
Yes.
Number 4, leave room for the unexpected. I love this saying that Brandon, he told this to me a while ago, and I use it in my everyday life as much as in our hunting life too.
Yeah.
You've got to leave room for the unexpected.
Yeah. No plan ever works out, right? You
No.
think, okay, we're going to go here, and we're going to do this, and the elk are going to be right where we envision them, and boom, I'm going to sneak in like this. It never happens that way, and
Thank goodness it doesn't.
yeah. It might be kind of boring, right?
Yeah, right. It'd be really boring.
Yeah. When you're up on the mountain, when you're there's things that are going to change. Unexpected things.
Unexpected things.
Like you just said, you might run onto one a quarter of a mile up the mountain that's been in those trees all summer doing his thing, and the next thing you know, you just ran onto him.
Right.
So that's unexpected,
Hey, it's
right?
unexpected. It could be some sort of equipment failure.
Yes.
Right. It might not be detrimental to what your day,
Right.
but it's still a failure. Don't let it get you down. Don't let it get in your head.
Yeah.
You know, if you break a shoelace, I mean, something stupid, right?
Right.
But
Yep.
it does. It's known. People get stressed about the weirdest things.
Yeah, and same with other hunters. You'll run into other people.
Oh yeah, that's a huge one.
Yeah,
I
so
think that's.
you got a plan to go here, and you get up there, and all of a sudden you see these guys, or one or two, you know.
Like,
Yeah, there's other
was
hunters.
wasted 4 hours of hiking, 1,000 vertical
Some
feet or
guys
whatever.
are.
Yeah.
So leave room there to do something
Yeah,
else.
change it. Change your plan. Just got changed.
Yeah.
Whether you wanted to or not.
That's right.
Don't let it get you down. Just keep hunting.
Yep. Yeah, all those things. So we like to
Leave some room for the unexpected in your head and everywhere else.
mentally, yeah, because you could really you get dejected early.
Yeah, don't let that happen. That you're out here to have the experience. Don't let that
Yeah.
happen. Don't let
Yeah.
it get you down.
Yeah.
That'd be horrible.
One thing that's tough to leave room for is when you leave your release back at camp.
We've been there too, haven't we? Yep, been there.
That's brutal.
That's brutal.
Yeah. So maybe to the pack thing, always have an extra release.
Always
in your
have an
bag.
extra. Yeah. If there's anything we gotta, have an extra
Yeah.
Have an extra release
If
with
you
you.
hunt with a release, you
Yeah.
know, most people do. But
nowadays. Huh?
yeah.
Number 5, adapt or go hungry. If you can't adapt on an hourly basis, minute basis, daily basis, man, learn how to adapt. Be prepared mentally and physically,
Yeah.
and to adapt, because an elk it spends its whole life every day trying not to die, right?
Yep.
And so they get really good at it, obviously. And you have to be able to adapt. It's going to be different. You're going to have water conditions, weather conditions, extra people, public ground, the increase in public pressure, all that.
You're not willing to adapt.
You're
Yeah.
not willing to adapt. You have to be willing to adapt. And you know what? It makes it funner.
Yeah.
When you're willing to adapt and change,
Oh yeah.
good things happen.
Perfect example. 2 years ago, we had some new hunters up here with us, and it was a little early in the season, but we always have decent success early in the season because we've hunted these mountains enough. We know where to go, and but we were running dry.
It was a tough year, man.
First 2 days of the hunt were brutal.
Brutal.
Just no elk anywhere. We all our honey holes, everything, nothing, gone. And so we had to adapt.
Yeah.
So we just found new country,
Yeah, we tried something brand new, didn't we?
tried something brand new, which you always go with what works for you, right? And if it keeps working for you, keep going with it. Why change, right? And we had to change.
But we had to adapt.
And it was 2 days of we finally split up and did a whole bunch of different things. We've hunted these other areas before, but never at any consistency.
Nothing like the way we did that day, too.
Yeah, and we found, and guess what we did? We adapted. We found elk. We got on elk.
Almost got an elk that night.
Yeah, that's right.
Other than light conditions, we would have had an elk on the ground that night.
Yeah, that was a good example. We had to adapt, and you do. You just go for it. Yep.
And sometimes it's
Yeah.
fun, and you're amazing. I think probably that most of our best learning experiences and knowing new area and different things is because we've had to adapt.
Yeah.
We've had to get outside of our comfort zone.
Yeah. Because you do. You can definitely get comfortable. Yeah, adapting is not an easy thing. Most people are creatures of habit. We all have this routine that we are comfortable with, and if you've done any reading on the brain and what it does, it doesn't like you to be out of your comfort zone.
No.
It wants to be comfortable. So stretching yourself is not easy. Making those changes.
This is number 6, patience. Man,
Yeah.
and there is that's a whole other day of talking on patience, but
Yes.
patience at the time of when you have an elk in close, to patience with when you're not seeing the elk. You got to have patience to know that,
Yeah.
hey, I'm going to stick with this. Be patient. It'll work. It'll happen. I know they're here. The sign is here.
Yep.
Everything, right? You have to be patient. Sometimes, and especially in today's world, we get used to forcing everything, right? We want
Oh, yeah.
instant gratification, and you're trying to force everything, to bend everything to its will, and Mother Nature doesn't bend well to our will sometimes. Not
Yeah.
without heavy equipment.
Right, that's for sure. Yeah, one of the things is patience can be counterintuitive too. For me, because I'm not, there's an elk, I'm gonna go get it, right?
Right.
As opposed to trusting in the skills that we've got in calling, setups, things like that in the field, where you just let's just go get it. And he's just right there. Great example was when Weston had his bull tag.
Yep.
Okay, this is
This is a great story.
This is difference between Kent and I, big time. So we find a herd of elk, and he's got the herd bull with him, and we get up in the mountains, and we're coming in on them, and we stop, right? And there's just it's pretty steep, and there's this meadow below us, and bear with me on this story a little bit. And the elk are starting to come out of the trees, about 110 yards from us.
Yeah, it wasn't too far. Yeah,
About 110 yards into the meadow.
It was a rifle hunt. It was a
Yeah.
limited entry
Yeah.
rifle hunt. Yep.
And so we're in the trees, and we're watching them come out, and some are bedded in the trees. We're glassing, and what we thought were 3 or 4 turned into 14 or 15, all in the trees there bedded. And they are, I'm thinking, and you can hear the bull in the trees bugling. You can't see him, but we can hear him. And I'm ready to go. I'm like, let's go get him. He's, we
He's
got,
right there.
In my mind, we got a rifle. He's right there. We get one peek at him. He's a dead duck, right? And I told Kent, I go, and we actually had a conversation in the
Yes,
trees.
we did, in the trees.
I'm
We had a sit down.
You're right. Like, this is, and this is where we're different. Kent's like, no, let's hang out right here. Some are coming out of the trees. The bull might come out. Well, what we didn't know was he had a herd of about, I don't know, 60 to 80 cows, not 15 or 20.
Right.
And most of the cows were where we couldn't see, right? And that's the patience where you were patient. You wanted to wait because it would have come out and got a good shot and all that stuff. And we ended up waiting, and those cows turned around and went back into the trees for whatever reason. That bull called them all back and herded over, and we went down and we had to do some other maneuvering. He finally got the elk, but that was a trial for me. Yeah.
And I can see that, especially as it's not your tag, right?
No, yeah.
So
I
at some
turned
point
right to
you're going,
you.
I want to go so bad, but it's not my tag, and they've decided to wait. I think the best decision is to go, but I can't. So
that's exactly right. And that's what I said. I think it's best for us to get after this bull. We can just get around these trees and we'll find him. And you're like, I think he's going to come out of the trees. And you're right. It's his tag. It's your son's tag. Like, I'm here to help. I'll do whatever you want. But my gut says let's get the hell. Let's go get him.
We ended up going that way anyway, and it ended up panning out.
Yeah.
Nothing like any of us ever would have dreamed of.
No, it was
Which
a whole.
is back to our, leave room for the unexpected. We had to adapt that day.
Yeah.
We had to adapt that day.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If we'd have stayed right where we were,
yeah.
we'd have never shot that bull.
No, because we would have never known that there were 60 to 80, a herd of 60 to 80, not 20 that he had. Yeah.
Crazy. Anyway.
Yeah. So that was patience. Having patience that way, having patience in your calling, having patience when you see an elk. When you learn how to get after them, when on all these other podcasts and all the other people how to cut in the distance and calling correctly and all that stuff. Trust in your skills.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
If he's not pressured and they're not on the move, they're not going anywhere.
Right.
They don't need to be going anywhere.
Hang out.
Hang out. Let him, even if you got to wait till 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the afternoon for him to bed down and get comfortable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's what we did last year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
that was a patience maneuver right there.
It was too. That was, and this is, we had last year on my bull tag. We had a bull that kept bugling up in the pine trees, and we tried to get him down to us. He wouldn't. We called, we slow played, we tried all the things we could. And he just it wasn't hot enough to care.
Yeah, it was a little early in the year still.
Yeah. So the wind was swirling and howling that day too, and it was tough. So we thought, well, we could just back out of the canyon. But we didn't know. We said, we had enough patience. We sat down, had lunch.
Something to eat.
Yep. And while we're sitting and eating, we call, and next thing you know, 40 yards from us, coming out of the trees, or 2
I
rats.
don't want those bulls anyway.
No, but going back to don't look a gift up in the mouth, I might have shot one of those.
You might have shot one of those. Yep.
But you get sitting around, and I think it happens to everybody. You're just sitting there eating your breakfast, lunch, whatever, and you rip off a few calls, and next thing you know, here comes this, sneaky elk.
Yep, that was funny. Too.
But we had enough patience to wait. We figured out that he wasn't moving, and he stopped calling. But we just thought, well, he either left or we're going to swing around and get the wind in our favor to try to to make something happen.
Yeah, because we were right on that cusp of
Yeah.
late morning.
Yeah.
You know, we really didn't have time. The thermals were still coming down at the time, swirling but coming down.
Yeah.
But we didn't really have enough time to get to him without knowing that the thermals were going to change.
Right. So we had enough patience to just hike up the mountain, go through the thick, nasty nonsense, take our time, and finally when we got up there, we were on his level then. Not that we were trying to be on his level, we just wanted to get around a little bit because the wind was doing some different things, and see if we could get him to call again. We got close enough and he called back, and we were right on him.
We were a lot closer than I thought we were too.
Oh yeah, we were. Cause,
Right, we played him perfect.
Yeah, and if you go to our Instagram page from last September sometime, September, October, I posted a couple of times. Weston was filming the hunt, and you can see how I shot that elk. You can't see the arrow hit him, but you know I'm bent like this, right? I wasn't.
You only very limited cover, really, right there.
Yeah, and the way the trees were and where he was, I didn't want to move. He was only 30 yards away. I didn't want to move too much. So
Embedded.
So I had to take a funky shot. It goes back to, if you're not practicing that stuff, you won't make that shot, right? You're practicing angling your body this way and bending over that way, so knowing your equipment. So anyway.
Yeah, no, it's worked out perfect.
Yeah.
That hunt actually hits probably half a dozen of our commandments.
Yeah, and again, it's not about. It's about helping you guys, right? It's not bragging. It's
not at all.
If you shoot that way a lot, you get used to shooting. Your equipment, you know what's going to happen with it. You know how it goes, and and that's what this is all about. So
exactly. So number 7, we're getting we're over halfway through these. Number 7 is you got to go with your instincts, and please learn from me. And I do this too often, whether it be hunting or anything else. Don't change your routine on game day. Don't try something new thinking you're going to get the advantage on game day. If you're going to change something, do it off season.
Yeah.
Right, so you can practice it.
Right.
You'll hate yourself, whether it be.
Don't change your release.
Yeah, don't change your release. Don't change boots. Don't change. Something that you haven't tried before. Stick with what you know.
Yeah.
For sure.
You get up that morning to hit out on the mountain and go, oh, I'm gonna try this release this time, or I'm gonna try, go with what you've been working with the whole time.
Yeah.
You need to be adaptable on the mountain when it comes to the hunting of the elk, but all your equipment, all your stuff, stick with what's there.
Yeah.
Part of the go with your instincts too is you don't learn unless you're out there trying and making mistakes. We 35 years of mistakes. We made mistakes last year in New Mexico. You still continue to make certain mistakes that just happen, but go with your gut. Try it.
Yeah.
You're on the mountain. Whatever decision you make is the decision you make. It might be right. It might be wrong.
But go with it.
But go with it.
Yep.
And so when you get back to camp, you're like, I did everything I thought was right at that time. And you can walk away with it going,
hey, I'm happy with it. It didn't work out, but here's why.
Yeah.
And here's where I can adapt and do something different. But
yeah,
I guess that leads us into, you've got to learn from that stuff too. And we've gotten better. We've kind of always done it though. We've always came back, discussed the day. What did we learn from it? What can we do different? We've done that a lot. We've always been really good at that. And I think that's part of our success too. Is we're willing to learn from our mistakes. We're not too proud that we're not the experts all the time.
No. And the fact that we're doing this, I want you to know, we have a lot of years' experience. We want to share it. There are many people out there that aren't on YouTube that are probably 10 times better than us.
Yeah, of course. Yep.
That aren't popular and aren't the big names and that every year go out there
every year,
and they
right?
go shoot a bull and they're
That's
on
okay.
it. And
I'm hoping we can help.
Yeah, anything we can. That's what that's all about.
Don't leave elk to go find elk.
Yep.
I mean, I know everybody has a plan and they have this grand plan and they think that the elk are going to be here and they know, and well, these will be here when we get back, or that hunt the elk that are there.
Yeah, it's one of the prime examples is finding one on a camera, right? You've got cameras out there and you know that this bull or whatever, these elk have been working this area all season, and you get a plan to go, and when you're on your way there, you're a couple miles in, you run into another herd.
Don't leave them.
Don't leave them.
Hunt those elk, please.
Hunt them, yeah. Don't look at gift elk in the mouth. There they are.
There they are. They're there for you.
Because you hunt the ones that are there. Because we've done this before. Just up this mountain over here, we've had great elk in this canyon, all on camera.
Mm-hmm.
And we go to hunt them, and we're on our way in, and what do? Especially last year, right over that ridge, there were elk all over right there. And my mind is keep thinking, going, well, we know there's some down there because they've been on camera.
Always see them. Yep.
Yeah, but no, we hunted those ones that were there.
That's
you
right.
do that because those are the elk.
Hunt those.
Hunt them. Yeah, and it's, you think, oh, but that one was always on this camera. I need to get over there.
All right.
And we've
it's
left
hard.
elk before. And
I know it sounds silly,
Yeah, it
but
does.
it's really hard.
Yeah.
When your brain makes that decision to follow that plan, it's tough.
Yeah.
To
adapt back to
yeah.
something different.
Yep.
But yeah, don't leave elk to find elk. Or you're somewhere, and there's elk down there, and you're thinking, okay, you're making a plan to get on them, and an elk bugles over somewhere you can't, you hear another bugle. But that bugle sounds bigger. It sounds, you've got him here, hunt him.
Hunt 'em.
Yeah.
Man, because a missed opportunity is truly a missed opportunity, and we've had it happen where one day an area is chuck full. You can't swing a dead cat without hitting an elk, right?
Yeah.
But the next day, guess what?
It's zero.
Yeah, it's desert. So
Yeah, hunt them.
Yep.
Hunt them. Next, just an easy one here. Just get out and hunt. Right? Everybody, you look at, what do you call it, Insta-famous, right?
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's got their Sitka gear on and their $2,000, $1,500 to $2,000 bows and need all the top equipment. We hunted years ago, and everybody did years ago with our bows that were 50 yards was a stretch.
Yeah,
for
50
that
yards
bow to
long
reach.
shot.
That arrow does this, and it's slow. Get the equipment that you've got and go hunt.
Just go hunt. You need the experience.
Yeah.
Experience will shoot you more elk than $2,000 worth of clothing will.
That's right, and the top of the line boots and all. Get out there. Get out there. One of my best stories from that is we went hunting in Idaho in what was it, mid '90s, early
2006.
Okay, early 2000s.
I'm still shooting that same bow, by the way.
Yeah, see.
That bow was new that year. It's
Well,
how
we're talking about the bows were crazy, but we were just on our four wheelers. We stopped on a dirt road. I think we bugled. The bugle came back up the mountain. We all jumped off our four wheelers, went up the mountain. He's in Levi's and a t-shirt,
Gray t-shirt.
gray
Levi's.
t-shirt, and takes his bow.
We're just lucky I had my bow with us.
Yeah.
It was the day we got there. We hadn't even. It was not a hunt day.
Yeah, and what does he do? We set up, called, bam, he shoots his bow.
It was crazy.
You don't need all the fancy.
No. I had
go
Levi's and a
hunting.
gray t-shirt.
Yeah.
I could have bought all that stuff at a garage sale.
Get out hunting. You can dive deep into, arrows nowadays. What millimeter am I shooting? Is it too long? Is it too short? Is it too heavy? Does that work? Dude, the aluminum arrow crap we used to hunt with, and we'd kill animals
And you
with.
know what? I bet my quiver only had like 3 or 4 of each the same.
You're right, yeah.
Other than that, they were all different, probably. They're just what I
But you
hodgepodge
knew your
together.
equipment, you shot the heck out of it, and you could, and not only that, I love that. What did you say? That it's a pie plate.
Yeah, if you can a pie plate at 40 yards, you're good to go.
Yeah, pie plate at 40 yards. You
Yeah.
don't need to thread
I'm not
a
gonna,
lifesaver.
I'm not shooting on the center of a lifesaver. You don't
Right.
need to.
No.
At 60 yards.
No, just be comfortable with your equipment. Know what it does at the yardage, and
Go hunt.
go hunt.
Yeah.
Just go hunt.
Just go hunt.
Man,
There's no better experience and there's no better training.
yeah,
Get out in the field. Be comfortable with being in the field. Be comfortable being in the field by yourself.
yeah.
Right? There's nothing wrong with that either.
No, that's for sure.
A lot of people struggle with that.
Yeah, walk the hills, hunt by yourself.
Just hunt.
Just get out there and hunt. I love it.
Yep.
Love it. Last but not least,
And I think literally, I know we talked about this being a little bit in the order of importance, but we saved this to the end for a reason,
yeah,
right? And that is celebrate your hunt. And I know that we'll probably need to really explain that term, but that doesn't mean you have to be Insta-famous. That doesn't mean you have to have a bow on the ground. Some of my best hunting experiences, whether it be with Brandon or my son or whoever, are not when we've got an animal.
yeah,
Right? It's
Yeah.
the stupid little stuff that happens in between.
yeah,
The conversations that happen while you're sitting on a log, the wilderness naps with the flies on you,
Buzzing you,
whatever.
yeah.
The sharing snacks because you forgot yours that day.
Yeah, or what's funny, the best part about that is, we never coordinate our pack food, right?
Nope.
Suddenly we're on the mountain and we're like, oh, you got that? I'll trade you for this.
Yeah, exactly. That looked pretty good.
Yeah, all those little things are what make the experience. So when you're on the mountain elk hunting and you're up there taking a nap, take it in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and don't come back and throw a party because you took a nap on the mountain, but celebrate inside. Like, that was great.
Know that was
part of the life.
That was a success that day. That day was successful regardless.
Yeah. Seeing new country.
Seeing new country. Celebrate that.
Yeah,
right?
taking
I learned something today.
Yeah.
It is crazy how much you can learn and know, and keep your eyes open and just celebrate all of that. We all live in a very stressful world, most of us, day in and day out.
Yeah.
So every day you have a field is a day to celebrate.
That's
and
for sure.
Getting an elk it's awesome, right? And that's the reason we're there, but it's almost a letdown sometimes because now you're done.
And now you're done, right? No, it's not always about the harvest, like you said. It's once you're on the mountain and you're with friends, and we've had a lot of different people hunting with us the last number of years,
Mm-hmm.
and just having a great time.
Having a great time, some of the best times.
Helping new hunters, we've been doing a lot of that, and it's so much fun to just be away from the city, hiking new country, old country, and just experiencing the beauty of it all.
Mm-hmm.
And this I like being alone out there.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. You celebrate that too, right?
Yeah.
Knowing that you can get along with yourself out there and make your own decisions, right or wrong, and you need that's all something that needs to be celebrated too. And I think celebrate's the perfect word for that. Celebrate that day. Celebrate every hunting day you have, because someday you're not going to have any more left. So let's all try to celebrate that. I think that's a great term and a great philosophy and a great way to continue this hunting career that we've started, and philosophy for life, right? You got to celebrate every day.
Yeah, I'd rather call it a hunting hobby, because we're not making a dime at this.
No. Gosh, I wish we were, but no, we.
No, a lot of people do.
A lot of people do,
Yeah.
but no, we are.
We're not the. We do this for hobby and fun.
Having fun, and hopefully I can help somebody else out. And the last few years since we've started all this, we've started helping a lot of people out. And we're going to continue that. More to come, and more in the years to come.
Yeah.
But we love helping people out.
Yeah.
That's honestly, is probably one of my favorite things, is helping these folks and teaching them. And a lot of folks we help are from areas that aren't from the West, or
never archery elk hunted before.
Never archery elk hunted before. We can show them things out there, and it's a blast.
Yeah.
And that's part of that celebration too.
Yep.
And I hope you guys learned something today. I hope we were helpful in some way, and I hope you enjoyed it. Let us know. Please comment, like, subscribe, whatever you need to do to help us out so that we can keep doing this. We're having a blast doing it. Listen to the podcast, Make It Happen Outdoors podcast, and on YouTube, Make It Happen Outdoors. And watch for more to come. We're still going. No slowing down now.
Yeah, and thanks to Weston for putting this together.
Yeah.
So we appreciate that. Go give us a follow there too if you can, and send us messages. We'll do everything we can to help.
Yeah. Comments, feedback, whatever you need. If you got any questions, we'll answer as many questions as we can.
Yep. Yeah. And we're not proud. We're humble. If you think that there's something on this list that we should add, send it to us. We'll fill it in.
You bet.
Yep. One of the other things on calling, we're talking about picking a bicycle lock, and that is absolutely do not call when they can see you.
Yeah, please.
Or you're real close.
Or the shooter. I mean, literally, if it means you got to take all the calls away from your shooter.
You're right.
Right.
Yeah, and got a story here about a New Mexico hunt about 2 or 3 years ago. We were slow playing a bull. We set our shooter up 40 yards, 50 yards between us and the bull. The bull was coming down the ridge. He was down at the bottom. And the bull stopped, just doing his thing. Me and another guy, we were over the next ridge a little bit, slow playing him, right, to get him to come in, and he was on the move. And he decided to stop for whatever reason, and our shooter hit a call. He was 60 yards from the bull. This is where patience came in too, and And we give him a hard time about it all the time, right? He learned. Which
Yeah.
which is
Luckily,
right.
I don't think he'll ever do that again.
Yeah, because that bull, as soon as he hit that call, just eyeballed right on him, and he knew exactly where that call came from. He knew exactly where it was distance-wise, and he couldn't see what he heard. And he looked and decided something's not right, and he left.
Right.
So, that's one of those things that you make sure that.
Do not call when they can see you.
Yeah, if you're going to call to stop him,
Yeah,
right?
a little bit different
He's
story.
walking by and you're ready to shoot, and you shoot a call to stop, fine. But don't call to. All right, these dogs are giving me anxiety.